coming into this game, you were thinking this Niner team is dead. They stink. There's no way they can compete with the Rams. And now, a couple days later, you're like, you have to totally reorient your thinking after just one game. That's my favorite thing about football. I think it's so intellectually stimulating, don't you?
It's thrilling. It's thrilling and fascinating. And it's like reading a great novel and you think you have it worked out. And the writer, he or she does something totally unexpected. And you have to rethink your whole position on the novel or the movie or the play. It's wonderful. And here's the thing. And I clearly I have to own up to this. Not only did I say the Rams would beat the Niners, I said the Niners were through.
Yes.
I said there's no chance they're going to make the playoff. I mean, I really deserve to lose that bottle of wine. Based on two horrible games, and they were horrible games, Iggy. I had written them off for the whole season. And now F. Scott Fitzgerald, he was a good writer, and he had this image when you had to rethink things. You have to rearrange all the furniture in your mind. Yes, I paraphrase, but now I have to move the couch from here to over there. And you know what I mean?
Well, absolutely. I mean, last week, the question you were asking is, who can the Niners beat?
Right.
If they can't beat Miami and Philly, who can they beat? Now the question is, who in the NFC can the Niners definitely not beat? I mean, you saw what the Packers did against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Packers are coming up in a few weeks. All of a sudden, you're thinking, maybe that's a winnable game for the Niners. Who's to say they can't beat the Packers?
You're damn right. Who's to say they can't beat the Packers? And who's to say they can't beat the Rams again?
Oh, I would expect them to beat the Rams again. They match up extremely well with the Rams. They don't match up well with the Cardinals. That's interesting. We know why. But Kyler Murray is just so athletic, and the Niners' defensive ends are big and not as athletic, and they have a tough time with them. So that's always going to be a tough matchup. And so will the Seahawks. That's a tough matchup, but they could probably do well against Tampa. Tom Brady can't move. Who knows?
But, Iggy, here's what I want to say.
Yeah.
I had written them off from the playoffs.
Right.
I take it back.
Right.
Now, also, there's another team gets in. There are 7 teams, right?
7, yes. So 9 and 7 does it. 8 and 8 might do it.
Yeah. So they have an extra shot because there is the 7th team. And they just beat, a quality outfit. And one of their main competitors. So, but here's what's interesting. So now I'm ruling them in again. If they get whipped in New England, I could rule them out again. And it makes it seem like, guy, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's all over the place. And that's the truth. I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm all over the place. But I think a lot of people are that way with the Niners and with the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, because like you said, you can really predict a boxing match. If you know the two boxers, you can say when it's going to end, how it's going to end, and why. With football, there's too many players. It's way too. There's millions of variables to take into account, and that's what's so thrilling about it is no one can really project with accuracy what's going to happen in the game, and it's really thrilling. And I know that football wasn't always your favorite sport to write about. It's a lot of fun to cover. But sometimes it's hard to be visual because where do you focus on? What do you describe? With boxing, it's 2 guys in a spotlight. With baseball, it's a couple guys in a spotlight. It's very visual. But what I love about writing about football is that the world changes every week, like we're talking about. In baseball, a game ends and everything the players and coaches are basically saying is, it's just one game, guys. It's just one game. You lost. We're getting tomorrow. And it's true. And you can't overreact. In football, you can't overreact enough. I love that. Yeah.
Baseball is very good because it usually comes down to one play or one performance.
Yes.
The pitcher or the home run or the double play that the shortstop started running into the hole. And you can describe it visually.
Yeah.
Football, game by game, is more exciting, except when you get to the baseball playoffs. They're wonderful.
Yes.
But it's overwhelming. Do you do the offensive line? Do you do the quarterback? Do you do the wide receiver? Do you do
coaches,
the coach?
The game plan, the scheme?
Yeah. And sometimes I have to admit, Iggy, I would be going down to the locker room without an idea, and I'd be sweating through my clothes. And when you started working with me, you'd say, calm down, Dan, calm down. Have you thought about, because you're a more precise thinker than I am. So
it's easy to be a precise thinker when you don't have to write the article. Dad, you should do this. That sounds easy.
And I would always say, thank you, dear. Yeah. Thank you, sweetheart. Yeah, really. So anyway, where we're at with the Niners now, and I say with the greatest humility, they're back in the hunt. I'm apologizing for what I said last week and paying up with this bottle of wine, and I could change my mind in another week. So
Right.
I guess
Real quick, if they lose to the Patriots, then they got another game on the road in Seattle. I think that game in Seattle is pretty much as close to a guaranteed loss as there could be, just because it's the second road game in a row. We saw the Niners do that. Remember, we went to New England, then they went to Seattle the next week and got killed. It's just hard. So this is the one to win. The Patriots are good but vulnerable. Let's break down this matchup, Dad. What do you expect?
one other thing before we
Oh,
get
sorry,
to
keep going.
About going to Seattle. It's kind of gloomy up there. Did you tell that story?
Yeah, the Niners used to lose every year in Seattle, no matter how good they were during the Harbaugh years. And then I think it was like the final, it might have been the Chip Kelly year, but Ahmad Brooks was still on the team. And no matter what, they would lose in Seattle. So you and I would always go to Ahmad Brooks after the game.
I loved him.
Our favorite. For whatever reason, other writers didn't go to him so much. He might be a little intimidating. He's kind of crazy in a weird way. But we would go to him because he has no filter. And he doesn't mind hard questions because he's kind of detached from the whole thing. So you'd ask him, he's also smart, went to Virginia. Mom was valedictorian, grew up around very, very smart people. So he would like to talk. And one of the questions was, Ahmad, why do you guys always lose in Seattle? And he's like, I know, right? That's a really good question. I've been thinking about that. And he starts like just going off. He's like, it's always really kind of gloomy up here. Maybe I was like, that's a good point. It is gloomy, man. They need to brighten it up here. I don't know why we were talking about that, but yeah, it's the gloom factor in 2 weeks. You got to factor that in.
It's the gloom factor.
That's why, usually home team gets 3 points because of home field advantage. You get the extra point in Seattle for the gloom.
It was one of the greatst answers to any question I ever had in my life.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it was so sincere.
It was. I don't know. So I've really been thinking about this and what I've come to. Like how you go to New York and you ask them, why is the pizza better here? They go, it's just the water.
That's what someone told my sister. It's the water.
It's the gloom.
I always thought it was the cheese.